Hey, Melvin.
Brenda, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Hey,
Brenda.
Melvin.
No, I haven't seen you
Brenda.
either. Uh-huh.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know. I've been in hibernation.
You've been sticking me.
Uh-huh.
I know that's.
What you been doing?
I know that's the same.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, Melvin. Unmute. Unmute.
Yeah, I got it. Melvin. Hello, Melvin.
There you Y'all hear me now?
Oh, there's Larry. Hey,
Yeah,
Larry.
I can hear you
Hey.
now.
How you doing?
I'm
Okay,
good.
y'all.
We
Good
here.
to see y'all. You're in a different place, Larry.
It's hard to hit a moving target.
I know. I just realized your background had changed.
I just changed positions. I'm in Monroeville.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody. Have we got Anthony? I think I've heard everybody. Is Anthony on here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Is it, Mary? It's 4, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello.
We're live on
Al.
YouTube.
Okay. If it's 4, I guess we can go on and get started. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well with our continuing stay at home and COVID situation. We have a pretty big agenda today. So I guess, Mary, we'll start with you and talk about the 2021 budget hearings and the year-to-date budget report.
Yes, ma'am. I've sent y'all probably a couple hours ago a schedule for the budget hearings. We'd like to start them on June 15th. If all your schedules are possible, if they can accommodate that. Let me see if I have the, let me pull up the schedule real quick. It'll be just like last year where we did 3 nights and then a half a day on Thursday, and that accommodates all of the departments and also the appropriation requests that we get. Let me pull this up real quick and see if y'all can see it. Can y'all see the schedule? We'd start Monday, June 15th at 4 p.m. And then Tuesday we have a council meeting and we can start right after the council meeting at 5:30. And then on Wednesday, the 17th, we can start at 4 p.m. and that'll start the appropriations group, the Main Street Chamber Events Coordinator in the library. And then on Thursday, the 18th, if y'all wanted to do another lunch session, then we can finish up with the YMCA, the Economic Development, Museum, Board of Education, et cetera, and any remaining ones. So y'all, we okay with starting our budget hearings in June? Since the elections start July 7th and then go through the 21st, I didn't think we wanted to cram in budget hearings during election time either.
It sounds good to me.
Yeah. Good schedule.
Yes, ma'am. All right, and then just on another note, I'll share the budget screen with you all. The paper reported a surplus, and really it's more so that we're under budget. We don't have a surplus, but we did go down. Hold on.
I think that's kind of what was mentioned in the meeting, that it was $1 million surplus.
Right, and I misquoted. It should be just that we have $900,000 under budget, that we're being very conservative with our expenses, and our revenues are still climbing, but we should probably expect them to decline probably next month or July. But can y'all see the budget screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
This is year to date. So this is as of Friday, May 15th. And this shows our revenues and then all of our expenditure accounts. So year to date as of May 15th, we don't have our sales tax figures in yet for May. They usually, everybody is required to report by May 20th for their April sales. So we'll have that information, June 1st, like we always get that report. So right now we are under budget of $900,862.70. Just wanted to I'm going to try and do this on a monthly basis for you all, just so that we can kind of gauge how everything's going with the pandemic.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Looks good.
Thanks. That's all I have. Let me see if Marshall's signed in yet. I don't see him yet. I'll text him and see if he's gonna log in.
Okay.
But that's all I have, so I'm done, unless y'all got the email also about the Axon body camera or the contract. Did y'all have any questions about that?
Something doesn't smell right about that. What, have we not been getting bills every month from them or?
We did, and the one accounts payable, we didn't get I guess it was filed in her filing cabinet. And so we missed the payment out of last year's budget. And then we found it and so we didn't budget enough this year. We budgeted accordingly to what we were expecting to have paid. And we're over budget on the dues and subscriptions, but I've worked with Axon and we've consolidated. We had 4 different contracts with Axon. One was for the body cameras. The second one was for the dash cameras. And now we have a data plan that they host all of the data, the videos in the cloud. And so now this is the consolidated contract where it took all 4 contracts and bundled it together instead of having 4 different due dates. And it was like trying to herd cats with all the different contracts we had with Axon.
So we just pay them a once a year fee, is that right?
Now we will, yes, sir.
That's, I don't know, those kind of places will take advantage of you. I just want to make sure we're
We've gone through it with a fine tooth comb. Brian House and Chief Armstrong have also looked at it. So the fact that we're saving close to $4,800 now versus what we were spending was over that.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah,
one
that was
streamlined approach.
because of the sales tax they charged mainly and. a couple
Right.
other things, yeah.
And we're going to deduct that out of the payment for the $33,000, which was for the body cameras and the data subscription.
I can't believe they hadn't cut service off after that long. So,
We paid a current data and subscription bill. It was $20,000. I think y'all saw the ledger. So we paid that up, but this is for an outstanding balance of last year. That the bills just were filed. We found them in the filing cabinet.
And so in other words, just an overlook.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a mighty big overlook, Brenda.
Can't
Well,
believe
you
they
would-
had said something, you know?
Huh?
You would have thought they would have said something.
Yeah, you would have.
Well, we've had so much work going on with them. I think we've been a really good customer. So who knows? Maybe they didn't catch it either until who knows?
Have
Trying
we
to comb through for
asked them to take an adjusted amount on the past due to get it resolved or?
I can ask.
Mary, did anybody have anything else with the Axon situation?
Mhm.
I know we've got a few minutes. Is Marshall on yet, Mary?
I texted him. He's not responding.
Okay, while we're waiting on him, we might, Dawn, do you want to start? Because you've got a lot between the event updates and the fireworks. Do you want to just start on your stuff, and then when he comes in, we can put him on?
I'm ready.
Can y'all hear her okay?
Yeah,
Okay. We have scheduled, Touch a Truck for May 29th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. would be a no horns hour for the children that are sound sensitive, and we will have that in the write-up. I sent you all the information that was sent to the journal, so everybody would see it. It should come out this week, so you'll see that. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 12 industries coming, as opposed to last year when we had 20, and that's due to the COVID, more than anything else, where their corporate offices will not let them attend. But other than that, the county will be there, AlDOT will be there, R&R, USA Ready Mix, Warrior Tractor, Castillo Towing, the EMA, Monroeville Waterworks, mainly our municipalities will definitely be there, and the sheriff's department's gonna bring out the new drug dog for the kids to see a lot, so they'll be able to have that. And we have COVID guidelines to go with it. I went ahead and drew them up according to what we do with the farmers market, and I'm just gonna have Chipper look over them tomorrow. He was kind of out of pocket today, but he said he'll look over them and just make sure everything's okay, so we'll be in good shape. And we'll have to post that at the event, basically keeping a 6-foot distance and staying with your family, and so forth. Basically the same guidelines that we would have at the farmers market is what we're going to use, because those are federal guidelines. And I think we'll be in good shape. Everybody's supposed to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll set up and get ready to go. We'll have a food truck out there, Kona Ice, and the food truck is also knows the owners of Pepsi real well, and they're going to bring out the Pepsi wagon. So we should be in good shape with that. People are mainly, that's for them to take out, not stay there and eat. It's going to be more of a takeout situation where people can go there, and it's going to be more of like a takeout. So they can't just sit there and stay at the tables. They have to keep moving. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So we should be good with that. We also are working on spring cleanup. We're going to do a virtual spring cleanup next week from 8 to 12. Billy Wayne and I have been working with it. All the supplies are already at the fire station. They've been there when we originally were supposed to kick off a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to advertise it in the paper as basically a virtual event where they can come between the hours of 8 and 12, pick up the gloves and a bag, grabbers, safety vests, things that they need, but they will need to hand over their driver's license so we can get that stuff back when they turn in the bags for us to count. And then we'll give them back their driver's license. And, but we're just going to handle it that way and just keep most of it outside, and they can do it virtually and get some fresh air. And we'll have the guidelines posted for that too. The guidelines that I'm putting in place for COVID will be something that can be used generically with any of our outside events. That'll basically be a parks scenario that we'll have, and just promote social distancing and having people use their masks as much as possible if they have access to them. So that's kind of where we're at with those two items. And then the other thing I wanted to discuss is the proclamations for Public Works Week, which the mayor has, and the governor's proclamation for the spring cleanup through Alabama PALS, which the mayor has as well. And the other thing we need to talk about is the fireworks company, Pyro Shows, has contacted me, asking us whether we want to move forward with the actual fireworks permits for this year for the 4th. And I told them that we were going to be meeting on Tuesday, and we would, kind of figure it out if we want to do the fireworks. I've found out through other cities that Bruton's not doing their fireworks this year. I know Thomasville is, Atmore is, everybody else around us is doing it except for Bruton. So just to kind of give you a synopsis of where most of the cities around us are at, I think they're gonna wait and see what the governor says for any daytime festivities that we normally would do. They're all in the same situation we are, where we have festivities during the day along with the fireworks, and they're just waiting to see what the governor guidelines are going to be at that point. But most of them will have their fireworks show. So that's something you all probably need to discuss and figure out which way you want to go on that, and see if we want to move forward with the permits.
Dawn, when do we have to make that decision about the fireworks? I mean, we have a meeting on June 2nd. Could we make that decision on June 2nd, or do we need to make it before June 2nd?
I think we have to make it accordingly, because Billy Wayne can contest to this. These permits have to be done at a certain time with the state. And I told them that we would probably have an answer for them by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I think it's more of when they're allowed to apply for the permits and get it done. If we don't hit that window, then we're dealing with other things.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why we can't have the fireworks where, we may not have anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, folks can stay in their cars or whatever. But I think we should move on as far as the fireworks are concerned. That's just my opinion.
Haven't we already paid them for them?
We had put the down payment on it.
Okay.
We paid half.
Okay.
I believe, wasn't it, Mary, that we
Yes,
put
ma'am.
down back in August?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we paid it out of last year's budget. I don't know if y'all remember that. And so now we have the other half to pay in this year's budget.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to have the fireworks. And, I think Billy's main concern when we talked about it was just the parking. So we may need a little help on the parking, but I would hate not to have it. Billy, can you elaborate on that? I mean,
Yes, ma'am. What I was referring to in parking, if you're not allowed to have people in close proximity, how would we do that? And some of the things talking about just doing a drive-in. Well, if we do that, I don't know how we would deal with all the vehicles, so that everybody would be able to see the fireworks. I can make a quick call to the fire marshal's office and see what the very latest that we could submit permits for to be approved, and get back with you. I should be able to do that here in just a minute.
great.
If
Yeah,
y'all
that'd be
wanted
good
to
to
wait,
know.
see what the governor's going to say, because the governor's supposed to make a decision the 22nd whether or not they're going to extend this or relax it.
Yeah.
Sandy,
Yes.
I have a question. I don't
Yes.
guess we can have the activity at the Clownsville Park this year for the kids. We're not gonna have that, I guess.
You talking about the kids' camp?
Yeah,
Well-
no, that's what it is, the kids camp. I guess we're not gonna have that.
But
Well,
we were
don't-
discussing that, the mayor and
Yeah.
I, and trying to come up with solutions that keep our seniors safe that normally attend that event with us. And I mean, they're the most vulnerable is our senior citizens. And the most people that would help would be RSVP normally assists with us with that, along with the feeding program. The pools are going to open up. So we have access with the pools. I'm sure that Ricky wouldn't have a problem with that because I discussed that with him earlier in the year. And we could have lifeguards out there and stagger the children in. But everything is done at close proximity with children. And it's really going to be hard to maintain a 6-foot distance with children. So I wanted to, put that question up to you all. And if you want me to come up with something else, we could do a pool day or something, but once you get involved with that type of a situation, you're close to everybody. Senior citizens, that's a lot of exposure in that area due to COVID guidelines. And unless you just want to wait until we see what the governor is going to recommend and take her recommendations with her guidelines later on.
Yeah, I think we need to wait. Yeah, we'll wait.
Because that will be scheduled for this coming week. And we are going to do Touch a Truck, but we're going to make that more of a family event instead of a school field trip. And I think it'll be easier to control with the families there and with us, enforcing the 6-foot guidelines that are in place right now.
Yeah.
We'll have parents there to work with them and do it as a family unit, which would be a lot safer than everybody being on top of each other.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to do something, but we want to do it in a safe
Right.
environment. So we'll be that's going to be a work in progress.
Okay. That's
Thanks,
good.
Thelma. Yeah.
And then I did talk
Well-
with the tractor people today. They called me wanting to know what our schedule was like, because most of their stuff has been canceled for the year. And I told them that we're just waiting on guidelines. That's in September, but as of right now, it's lined up and ready to go on September 10th or 12th on that Saturday. But we're all just waiting for guidelines, as we get closer to that time frame. I'm sure, we're gonna do what the governor, recommends, and of course the mayor and the council. So we're all just kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for that.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you, Don. I
and
just
then
wanted to say, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that the farmer's market that's been very good. And I wanted to just recognize you for your 5 out of 5 rating on the farmer's market last Thursday from the Department of Ag. It really is. People are enjoying getting out to that. Thank you.
Yeah, that has been a good thing for our citizens, and we're going by the COVID guidelines with that, and everybody is very respectful of it, and they all want to participate, but they're all going by the guidelines that we post. And we've been thankful that WMFC has gone ahead and announces that, every morning to let people know that it's available and that they're taking the guidelines seriously. So that's a good thing.
Okay. I guess we can talk further about the, but it sounds like ahead with the fireworks. We just got to get a plan.
Yeah.
Marshall Black's
We're
ready.
just waiting on, yeah. Okay. Okay, Dawn, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll, okay. And Dawn, if you have some more, we'll come back to you, okay?
Okay.
He's ready, Mayor.
Okay, we're glad to welcome you to our meeting.
Hello, y'all, and I appreciate you taking some time for me today too. And of course, I get unmuted, and my kids start fighting and crying, and I have to jump up and run to another room. So forgive me for. I guess this is the way the world is now with these little distractions and things, and distance meeting, whatever. But and I suppose, Miss Sandy, were you able to share with my letter with the council? By chance?
Mary, did we share the letter?
I didn't see the
I just
letter.
didn't know how much background I needed to go into as far
Oh, I
as,
thought you,
you know.
oh, okay, well, I'll go. I'm sorry. I should have, I guess I didn't send out the letter, but Marshall has asked, he lives on Leslie Street and has been there for 5 years with his family. And they have had some bad problems lately with speeding.
Yeah.
People
Well,
speeding on the street.
and I'll tell you too. I can do this part. I just wanted to know sort of where we were as far as how informed everyone was. So, but that's correct. I live on Leslie Street, and if you're not familiar with it, Leslie is the street that it's what is it? There is Lula Street. If you're coming up Highway 41, there is Lula Street that is right beside the Chevron. Then there is Beck Street that is the next street to the right. And then Leslie Street is the next one that to the right. It connects to Lazenby and then turns at almost a 90-degree angle and cuts back out to Highway 21. So our street is a cut through between Highway 21 and Highway 41. Curiously enough, it's a cut through. Sometimes you can call it a shortcut, but it's actually faster if you're going from Highway 21 to Highway 41. You just go ahead and go to the square, but that doesn't matter. People still cut through. And I guess, as is the case with anything that's considered a shortcut, people are in a hurry. We have probably, I counted it up and I don't have it in front of me right now, around a dozen children that are living on the street, a good 7 or 8 that are in the same age between, I would say 11 to 4 and 5 years old. And, you know, when I first moved over here 5 years ago, it really wasn't an issue, but I noticed that there was a lot more traffic. Of course, I moved off of living on the very end of a dead end street, but we have a huge problem with people speeding through here. And even after I sent the letter the other night, right at dusk, happened to look out the window because I heard, you know, what sounded like a race going on, and cars were passing one another right in front of my house, racing down the road. Had to have been going close to 65, 70 miles an hour. And we can say what we like about whether, you know, kids should be out at this hour or that hour. You know, of course it was before 8 o'clock. But it's just, it's a problem that I really believe is going to, I don't want to say end badly, but I believe we're going to end up having some sort of, you know, something bad happen over here. We have a lot of people that use these two streets to exercise on. Tons of people walking and running, riding bikes through this neighborhood. And sort of, I guess what my fear is as well is not so much necessarily that people are using it for a shortcut, but that people may be using this road because they might be wanting to not encounter a police officer or something like that. I've replaced my mailbox 3 times since I've lived over here in 5 years. I don't know how many times you guys have replaced your mailbox in the last 5 years, but that seems pretty high to me. I've replaced it because it's been run over, by the way. And I'm not the only one. I was talking to a gentleman around the corner on Lazenby, and he had been through the same thing. I had worked up a bit of a petition, but as it felt like a petition was kind of gave off the wrong kind of, I guess, vibe, whatever you want to call it, for a request, because we're not a bunch of people with pitchforks making some sort of a demand. I did go, but I do want y'all to know that I did go around and speak to most of the people that lived over here, and everyone that I talked to, and I didn't speak to every resident on the 2 streets, but no one that I spoke to had any issue with what my request is, or our request is, that we put either speed humps, as their technical term is, a speed hump, a speed table, or other traffic calming devices, they're called. I had an incident, I wouldn't call it an incident, but last summer when kids were out playing a good bit, I would take our automobiles and I would put one on one side of the road, and then put our other automobile on the other side of the road, just down a little bit, so any traffic that would have to come through would have to slow down and sort of snake through there. I had a city police officer come through one day, and I believe it was just like at lunchtime. I stopped to come by the house, and I flagged him down, and I told him, hey, I really appreciate y'all coming through here. At this point, I'd been calling the police quite a bit for different things like that in the neighborhood, and I told him that story, though, about how I parked the cars over there, and he said, "Yeah, you're the one doing that." He said, "I've had people complain about you parking in the road," and I was just thinking about it. Kind of was a head scratcher for me, because he didn't know that I called for people, driving 80 miles an hour while my kids are out, playing with the neighbors and stuff. But he knew that I'd been parking in the road. I guess just a bit of a frustration, and I don't know if it's because that I've been home for a good bit because of our work schedule with COVID. My children are home. But it definitely seems like lately the traffic has been, a lot higher, a lot more aggressive driving, and we just really would appreciate y'all's help. I don't think that our issue is unique to this street. I do think that our traffic counts over here are probably a little bit higher than most places, but we just we would love some help if we could get it in that manner.
Well, Marshall, I will say, I walk down that street a lot, and I think the one issue you hit on is it definitely, it is a cut through. People do use it to get from one side of town to the other. Years ago, I know there were speed bumps on Leslie and Lazenby, and And I don't know if it helped or not because they took them out. But we've talked about in the department head meeting Monday, we talked about this issue. And I think what we've got to do is do some research, because there are certain kinds of speed bumps that I think the last time we had speed bumps that we got sued because it messed up people's alignment, and they are very
Because they were driving too fast and hitting the speed bumps.
Yeah, and then they sued us.
Right, that makes sense.
But then they were detrimental to our emergency vehicles. So, yeah, and that's been an issue. So I did talk to Chipper about this. He said one thing we need to do is run this by our insurance carrier to get from them what types of speed bumps or speed humps, whatever you call them, what are the ones that they look kindly on, so to speak. And so we'd gotten a price on some glue down speed bumps. But I talked to Michael Lassiter, and those are not ideal because they pop up. I mean, that might not be a good route to go. There's some kind of thing called a thermoplaster speed bump that we are trying to find out a little bit more about those. And then Chipper did say, he said, I think we need more signage. Like we need some signage on your street. I know you've got some of it. I noticed the other day, there's some faded. Some of that signage is faded, but
over by, and I have pictures of all this because I was hoping that we would all be together in the same space for this meeting. There is a sign over by Dr. Butts' house, which it's Dr. Butts' house is directly across the street from the Methodist church. So the side of his house is on Lazenby Street, on the north side, and there's a sign there that says no through trucks. And that's another, I don't know how the rules go for making this, eliminating it from being available for people that are not, just make the streets available for those who live here, not, or those who are visiting people here. Because that's what I really prefer, that sign said no through traffic. Not that I think it would change anything. There's the stop sign, of course, that's over about halfway down Lazenby Street, and it's almost like, for most people that are I guess violators over here, that thing is viewed as more of a dare than it is an actual traffic sign, because I watch it get absolutely, just blown through on a weekly basis. And I had someone tell me that too, that there used to be speed bumps over here, but that it hasn't been in the last 5 years, I guess. I don't recall it. But there were, my neighbor suggested, and I had a neighbor who has since moved, who wanted us to cut the street in the corner and make it 2 one-ways where you couldn't even cut through because of the traffic. And I don't necessarily think that's a solution. My reasoning for it is, strictly personal, that I go to Beatrice a lot, so I'd like to be able to go out that way. But I don't want to be ridiculous about anything we do over here. I'm not some parent that is overprotective helicopter parent, anything like that. but it's just troubling. I think what we see over here, and like I said, I don't think it's anything that's necessarily unique to our street. I think people speed all over town, and I think what would probably solve it more than anything is just having a greater presence from police over here just periodically, in which I know I've made the calls to the department before, and I see people over here, and I know that they must think that, you know, Marshall Black is just a busybody or something, because we come over there and we sit for 2 hours and we don't see anyone. And I've learned while I've been off work that there is sort of a pattern as far as the way it goes throughout the day. The traffic really picks up from 3 o'clock in the afternoon on, and it's pretty busy in the mornings as well. But I think some signage would possibly help, but it is not going to be anything that I don't even think people are going to see it really when it comes down to it, though. It might be something they notice their first couple times through, but then beyond that, it's kind of like Spotlight Road with the please don't litter signs that Ricky Powell put up over there. It looks like they just use that as a target for litter now. So,
Well, Marshall, one thing, I mean, I did talk to our police chief about this, and I think one thing we can do immediately is to increase our police presence in that area as much as possible to,
right,
you know, kind of on some of these, you know, the more high traffic times. And then I think if you, I mean, I feel like we need to do a little research on, because here's the thing, you are not the first person to request speed bumps. So
right.
I've got somebody else that's requested them recently, and they're not, right now, they're not in our budget. I mean, but what we've got to do though is to find, I mean, we can do this in short term too, find out what is a decent, you know, speed deterrent and how much that's going to cost us, and then figure out how we're going to do it and where it's needed, you know. So that's,
yes,
that's going to take, I mean, it's not something we can do tomorrow, but we can certainly, I mean, the safety of our children and our neighborhoods is number one, and we will certainly get the police to patrol more over there to stop some of these speeders and issue some tickets. And anybody else jump in, because in talking to Mike Lassiter earlier, you know, I think he thinks that these thermoplaster things might be the way to go. And he had called the company, but had not gotten a price back. So we're still researching, you know, kind of what's the best.
Yeah, I agree with you, Marshall. It sounds more like an enforcement issue at this point. And we may want to explore that, you know, possibly making those dead end roads, you know, that would certainly eliminate the cut through traffic.
Right. And it, you know, that, like I said, you know, that's, I hate to, you know, if something like that, you know, happens, I'll certainly be fine with it. And again, I don't want anybody to, you know, to think that I'm, you know, some sort of crazy overprotective parent, because goodness gracious, the amount of bumps and bruises and everything that have gone on last month and a half, whenever these children were under my watch, were we've had our stats are pretty bad over here as far as that goes. But you know, just you know, these children have a great neighborhood, and a real, I guess, opportunity to have. And I'm, you know, there's always thoughts that I have before I say something, you know, a carefree, you know, fun time, and not to say that they need to be carefree necessarily, but there's enough dangerous stuff going on out there without them having to worry about getting run over in front of their own house. And I really, you know, I see it all the time. Anytime the police step up their presence and their enforcement in, you know, a different area for traffic or whatever else, you see an immediate change in behavior. And just like I mentioned before, I really feel like some of the late night traffic that we get that is really, really high speeders, different kind of things like that. I really believe that those people are those that are looking to avoid an encounter with law enforcement and stuff like that. And those people really scare me. I don't know how much day drinking that there is going on, drinking and driving, stuff like that, but it still is a fear of mine that some of this traffic through here, you know, that is the motivation behind them coming through here, so they don't have those encounters, and that's is just very frightening to me.
Well, we might need to do some kind of like a roadblock thing or something. But if you are, I appreciate everything you've said, and we're going to take measures here. So let us.
I think the best thing to do. Sorry to interrupt. I've already taken too much of y'all's time, but I would just sit somebody in the First Baptist Church parking lot, and you can catch them coming and going, you know, whenever in the afternoons. And I'll mention one more thing too. Parade days, when the square is closed, in which it makes absolute perfect sense. People need to be able to get around. But it needs to be part of the protocol on those parade days that we have someone positioned over here watching, because the traffic numbers are absolutely sky high on those days. And it gets pretty dangerous on those days too, but that should be part of, you know, anytime the square is closed, there should be someone put on back on Lula Street, because when you're on Lula, you can catch every bit of traffic that's coming through. And again, not to stop anybody from traveling those routes, because they have to if they need to get around the square, but can't because it's closed. But just to get them to, you know, remind them they're in a neighborhood. So.
Right.
Don't we have a stop sign on Lazenby Street?
In the middle.
In the middle, yes, sir. That's the one that I was talking about. That it appears to me that one is seen as more of a dare than an actual something that is to be
the other simple
by.
The other simple thing would possibly position one halfway down on Leslie Street. Then.
Leslie, so.
Yes, sir. That'd be great. That'd be pretty much right in front of my house.
I mean, that would serve same purpose. That'd give law enforcement an easier issue of stopping somebody if they slowed and go more than if they were speeding even.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, Marshall, can we let us, you know, look at these scenarios and
certainly, and you know, when virus things, you know, are settled down, I would, you know, love to come in and talk with y'all more about it. But
anytime. Yeah.
Let's save it for the next meeting.
Yeah. We'll put it back on. We'll bring it back up and see where we are.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for letting me take so much of your time, I deeply appreciate it, and I thank y'all for all that y'all do. You do a fantastic job, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Marshall. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Okay. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, are we done? Are we done? Are you done with your part? Because I've got a couple of things I need to mention.
Let's see if I can, there. Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's just a matter of determining, if we want to go through with the permits.
Mayor,
yes,
I called the state fire marshal when y'all was talking, and he gave me some insights. That June 2nd, there's plenty of time to get the permit in, but if social distancing requirements haven't been lifted by then, we will have to develop a plan, submit that plan in writing to the Department of Public Health's lead counsel, and they'll have to approve it and all that before the state fire marshal will sign off on it. So if they haven't lifted the safe separation by then we're going to have to form our formal plan and submit it. So
yeah. Does that mean we probably need to start working on it, do you think?
he said that he felt like we thought we would have heard something from the governor today, but he probably thinks tomorrow on whether they're going to lift it or extend it instead of the 22nd. But I have forwarded each of you an email that he sent to me after that, so you can read through it. And but we can make determination on the June 2nd council meeting and still get permits approved in time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. Does that work for you, Dawn?
Yeah, I'll forward that information to the company and tell them that we'll revisit it for the next council meeting.
Right.
And he also said
you.
within the next day or two, the League of Municipalities is going to be releasing the same information.
Okay, great. Thank you, Billy. Very good. Okay, I just had a couple of quick things here. One of them actually involves Billy, and that is we have a leaking valve at the incubator, which relates to the fire suppression system. And so Billy got a quote for us on repairing it, and it's leaking quite a bit, and it's going to be $5,600. But if we don't repair it, it could blow the whole thing. So we're it was in the letter from S&S, because they gave us a quote of $5,600 that we need to repair it probably as soon as possible. So that was one thing that it's not in our budget, but we have it in the general fund contingency.
And I think that's a not to exceed price too, isn't it, Mayor?
Let's see. He says for the sum estimated cost on the intent to provide cost savings where possible. Yeah.
You know, we had to replace one of these a few months ago on the south, I guess it'd be the southwest corner of the building. It's just an old system with stuff that's been going on now. This one's leaking, so they're assuming it's the same thing. It may get in there and it not be the PIV, maybe just a connection on the pipe or something. We're looking at worst case scenario.
Okay, great. So if, I think we're going to need approval on that for tonight, for if someone wants to make that in the form of a motion to repair this.
I'll do that, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Al. That was one item. And then the other item is I talked to Ricky at the Y, and the life-saving boards and their flotation devices, all of those things have deteriorated and they are beyond recall. So he's going to need new boards and new flotation devices. He's opening the pools Monday, which is Memorial Day. And that is going to, estimated cost on those is $1,200. So, and we've got to have those. And that, we have that in the ABC contingency fund. If somebody wants to make a motion on that. It's a board for both Veterans Park and Clausell, along with flotation devices for both, and whatever other lifeguard stuff they need.
I do that.
Okay, thanks, Mel. Okay, great. Thank you. And then the only other thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned to y'all, I talked to Ricky, and we are the splash pad, they're gonna open it on Monday when they open the pools. The sod is laid. The fire department has been watering, you know, it's the worst time in the world to be laying sod, but hopefully it's gonna be set by that Monday, and we'll open the splash pad at that time. Well, it'll open on Monday, but the ribbon cutting is gonna be Tuesday at 11, if y'all can come out for it. So, because that way the day campers are out there.
Sandra, what are the hours for the pool?
Darn.
11 o'clock.
Thelma, I think, doesn't it open at 10? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I can call you though. I'll check with Ricky and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all good. And he's also thinking that they may start baseball. The governor may lift whatever that is, and they may start baseball this week or next week. So that's it. Okay. But that's all I had, unless anybody else has anything. I think, let's see, Larry, do you have the invitation?
I do.
Okay, just checking. We're not quite 5 o'clock. We got about 4 minutes. Oh, no, we got 3 minutes. Okay, it is 5 o'clock, so we'll call our regular meeting of the City Council to order. And Larry, we'll call on you for the invocation.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, the many blessings that have been ours individually and as a city. We thank you for your protection as we deal with the virus issue. We pray for your protection for all of our first responders. They've not had the option of being able to isolate or quarantine as we have. Just pray that you will have your hand on us and help us as we deal with the issues. We know this was not a surprise to you because in all things, you either cause them to happen or you let them happen. So we just pray that you'll be with all of our medical professionals as they seek answers for this virus. We just pray now that you will be with us in this meeting, that all that's said and done will be within the realm of your will for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. Our first agenda item is approval of the minutes. Work session is held on May 5th, 2020 at 4 p.m. and regular session is held on May 5th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Any discussion? Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay. Next item is Monroeville Code of Ordinances, Ordinance 2020-05-001, amend municipal election voting places. This is because the National Guard Armory is no longer an option for the city. We cannot use it as a polling place. So we will utilize a portion of the community house for both District 4 and 5 municipal elections. So Mary has got all of our election places secured, and so anyway, this is the ordinance. Do we have any discussion on the polling places? So we need to, I guess, have a motion to suspend the rules. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
I make a motion.
Okay, a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay, and so now we are able to adopt ordinance 2020-05-001, amend polling places for 2020 municipal election. So the polling places will be District 1, Waterworks Conference Center, District 2, Bethel Baptist Church, District 3, Morning Star Baptist Church, District 4, Monroeville Community House, District 5, Monroeville Community House, and District 6, Fire Station number 2 at 280 Whetstone. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-03-001?
I make a motion. I second it.
Okay, got Thelma on the motion and Brenda second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. We next have resolution 2020-05-003, weed and debris abatement. This is to set a public hearings for July 7th at 4:55 p.m. To see if these property owners are in compliance. Do we have any discussion on that?
Oh, Tim, the list that I sent today, can those be done at this time, or do we have to catch them next time?
We'll have to catch them next time.
All right, because that Burger
You and I
King,
can get together and you can show me what exactly you're talking about.
Okay, the Burger King, I mean, that's really bad. It's right there on the main road. So, but yeah, just give me a call and we can do that. But the two on Claremont and then the one up Highway 41 North right there on the right. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Tim, couldn't we, if those came up at our June 2nd meeting, wouldn't they also be able to be done in this same hearing? Or, I mean,
No.
because it couldn't, because the hearing's 7/7.
Yes, it could. It's 30 days. I'm not sure why it's set for July, but it's got to be 30 days. So we could do it on the next meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you and Larry get together and you get your letters out, we could put those on the same schedule.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank
Right.
you. Okay, thank you, Larry. Do we have a motion on the resolution 2020-05-003 to approve the public hearing for 7/7 at 4:55?
So move.
Okay,
Second it.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay, next item is Republic Services City of Monroeville scholarship applications are now open. There's a June 12th deadline. It's a $2,500 scholarship, or there's $2,500 in scholarship money available, and we can award it at the June 16th meeting if y'all approve, because we can have our Republic Services representative here. I think, Mary, did you send, well, I guess we have to first approve it, but we'll make sure we get it promoted through Facebook and through the Chamber's scholarship portal. Do we have a motion to approve awarding it at the June 16th deadline?
I make that motion.
Velma?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Oh, do we have I'm sorry. Do we have somebody opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay. Okay, the next item is the Axon body camera and dash camera revised consolidated contract. This revised consolidated contract will save the city $4,780 a year by consolidating the contract into 1 versus 4 contracts. Do we have any discussion on this? Do we have a motion to approve the new contract?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Anthony?
I
Thank you.
second it.
Brenda? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Okay, and then the next item is to approve paying the $33,743.14 outstanding balance to Axon for the accounts payable error in fiscal year 19, and to pay this out of our general fund contingency fund. Do we have a motion on that?
I make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Do we have a second? Does anyone want to second that?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Larry, I didn't hear you. Sorry. It's easier when you can see people across the table, but anyway. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thank y'all. Okay. Let's see. And next. Oh, okay. Okay, the next thing is the Johnson Avenue Stormwater Pump Station. Did everybody get that information that I sent out with the recommendations from Jeremy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I sent it out, I think it was last week, but
Hey,
the issue was
Sandy.
that, yeah. Okay.
I thought the water board had that also.
The water board, the issue was, Anthony, that what happened is when the city merged the water board with the sewer, I mean, when the sewer and water merged, the stormwater drain, or whatever you call it, it was not part of the stormwater responsibility remains with the city. So we did not know that really until we got a letter from Milton as the attorney for the water board. And the assets, you know, the water board had actually paid the insurance on the stormwater facility, which was actually the city's responsibility. So I asked Jeremy, because we didn't know that we had the stormwater pump station, I asked Jeremy to get it assessed so that we would know what condition it was in and what our responsibilities were going to be going forward as far as any capital improvements or repairs or whatever. So that's where they came back and said that our, you know, the switch, they're recommending that we add a 200 amp 3-phase 480 volt disconnect switch. And we got a quote from our Wiggins Electric, has said they can install it, and that we should get it installed within the next 60 days, and it would cost $2,500. So that was the most immediate thing that we got out of this. And then the other part of it was that we share a generator with the sewer board, and that Jeremy recommended that we do a joint use and maintenance agreement contract. And so he is working on getting that agreement together for us. And then they determined that the replacement cost for this would be $30,000, but it is in very good shape. It should last another several years, but that would be the worst we would be looking at if we had to replace it. So, Anthony, did you get I guess I sent y'all that letter, but I think the main thing was that the city has the responsibility for the stormwater.
Yeah, I saw that. I was disappointed.
Well, I know, I was too, but it's pretty standard. I looked into it, and it seems like the stormwater is it's always either the city's responsibility, or in some cases it could be a private landowner's responsibility. But it's going to rest with us. So they also gave us recommendations for public works as far as cutting the grass around the pump house, you know, grease pumps and motors every 6 months, clean pump house of all debris each month, and then check it after a heavy rain to check for any malfunction. So that's the main thing, is that we now know that it's our responsibility. I guess the good news is we didn't know it was our responsibility, but we haven't had any problems. So any discussion on that?
So we kind of need to put this in our budget for next year, just in case, right? Put some money back for that.
Yeah, I think there probably is going to have to be something in our maintenance budget toward it for next year. because certainly, just the generator, we've got joint
That's right.
responsibility for that. Yeah. So
That's right.
thank you. Yeah. So for right now though, do we have a motion to install the switch for $2,500?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
I second it.
Okay, thank you, Thelma. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, our next item is the mosquito contract for 2020. I think y'all got that in your agenda packages. And I'm trying to see where that is. Okay. Let's see, the total estimated cost of that contract, $13,525. They will not spray unless there's an outbreak in our area. It's with Lewis Pest Control. Do we have any discussion on that?
Was there a limit on the number of times they'll spray or a minimum number of times they'll spray in that contract? I don't remember seeing that.
Let's see. Good gracious. I'm not seeing it, Melvin.
Okay, because I mean, if we get into this, people are going to be a little more concerned about spraying. So, so with that in mind, if we need to make sure they are going to be able to do whatever we need done.
Is Michael Lester, are you on this call?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you address that? Do you know how many times they would spray for this?
It's, I don't have it in, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't have the contract in front of it. It's on there. It shows you they've got a certain amount of spray times, but now, and if we have to do any extra, that would cost extra. But there's there's a line on there where it's got with so many sprays.
Okay, it says surveillance and source reduction survey is $900. Lava sighting public areas with 30-day briquettes, $206, one case. It may be on here, but I don't understand it.
You said where it says
there's 1 hour application at $325 an hour is fogging.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it. That's
okay.
the spraying.
Okay. So Melvin, to answer your question,
Me too.
he's estimating approximately 20 applications at this price.
Okay.
So I guess if we have a real problem, we'd have to get more.
Yes.
Michael, are you happy with the service we've gotten and the effectiveness of it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Remember last year in the budget here, and I wanted you to leave the actual budget at the 25,000. That was just in case we needed to do extra spray, and if something happened, we would have the money in there to cover it.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Any
Mayor,
other
I'll
questions?
make a motion, we approve that.
Okay, thank you, Al. Do we have a second on that?
I second it.
Thank you, Thelma. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Okay, our next issue is Alabama Power easement. This is in the area of the county shop or the venue that that Billy Jones is doing. I asked Tim to go over and look at it, and Alabama Power has asked us for the easement so that they can connect the power for the county shop. They're going to have to go over a little tiny piece of our property over there. not a big deal really, but anyway, we've got to give them a formal easement here. So Tim, I know you're on here. Do you want to say anything about it?
Yes, ma'am. It's only about like 7 or 10 feet. It's not very far. It's just a little corner section.
Yeah.
There's already a power line there, but that was when it was over the county property. So now it's the city property.
So it's really a formality, but that place is really looking good too. I don't know if y'all have ridden by there, but they've been working hard on it, and it's coming along. Any questions on that? Do we have a motion to approve the easement?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, Larry. Okay, second, Thelma. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we have another change order on the incubator. We have an increase in the flooring for $800. And what happened is they were going to put new flooring over the old flooring for the office area for Clint, in his part. And the old flooring was very buckled and rippled and everything. And so there's an $800 change order, but we're still under budget with where we are with our portion of what we're gonna have to pay. So and it's really looking good. So if y'all get a chance, go over there and take a peek. Do we have a motion to improve or to approve that?
I make a motion. We approve.
Okay, Brenda. Okay, you have a second?
I go in and second it.
Thank you, Thelma. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay, we have some training and travel expense to approve for our police department. And this is a total of $200 for registration, $800 for travel expense, which includes hotel and meals. And this is, we can take it out of what we're not using for convention this year, mayor and council travel. So we've got it. And it's to send Michael Crum to some training. So any discussion on that? Do you have a motion to approve it?
I make that motion.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Okay, we have a new hire in the fire department. Eric McKenzie, as coming in as fire. Let's see. Billy, yeah. Is Billy on? Because I will let you talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, first thing, Eric is a current firefighter with Montgomery, and he's applied to Monroeville. Actually, he was the only applicant we got over a month of advertising. He does live outside the city limits, which we had on an application that they had to live in the city. As reviewing our city ordinance, it does not require paid firefighters live in the city. That was something we had on it. It does require volunteers to live in the city. So if we need to rerun the advertisement, we'll do that. But otherwise, if that doesn't matter, I'd like to move forward hiring him as a firefighter at the, what did we find, is it 1647 rate, I think it was, with all of his experience and certifications that he currently has. So we won't have to send him to school.
What pay scale are we using?
I think it's on it matches on both of them, Mr. Larry. I don't remember, I don't have them in front of me, but I know the mayor and Mary and I all compared them. On the old pay scale, It's a step 6A, I believe. I'm sorry, a class 6A, step 2. And on the new pay scale, it was maybe a 7 class something. I'm not sure without it in front of me, but I think they were right there together, if I remember right.
I know, Lee, was making the, 1665, I think. Is that
Yeah,
right?
he was kind of in between scales. So that was why we adjusted that a little bit. So.
And he was a fire engineer, so is Mackenzie gonna pretty much take his slot, or?
Yes, sir, but we didn't advertise for the engineer, so we just put it in at firefighter 2, but he does have engineer qualifications.
So when are we gonna vote on that new pay scale?
Well, I'd like for us to look at it in June. Certainly, we want to get it in for the new budget year, so that we can have everybody on the same pay scale.
So we can keep people, so we
Right.
can, retain the employees that we get.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to hire some employees.
Well, and I mean, I feel like when we're hiring someone, I feel like we're gonna, to adopt the new pay scale, if we're hiring someone, we probably need to hire them in at the new pay scale, because then everyone will be, once we switch everyone else over, they'll all be on the same sheet. So I think this one, this would be at the new pay scale, wouldn't it, Billy? 1647.
Yes, ma'am. I think 1647 is actually on both pay scales.
Billy, you have 1665 on the payroll sheet that I sent to the council.
Okay.
And that matches both the pending pay scale and our old pay scale. So
Okay.
it's on, yeah.
Okay.
There wouldn't be a change in this employee's pay scale or in his pay rate, because he would be on both.
Right.
He'll
Just
fall on the
what
new pay scale
classification.
correctly. And yeah, it's the same rate on the current pay scale that we're operating under.
That's good. I just feel like we should go ahead on it as soon as possible and vote on it.
Well,
The
we
new
can put
pay
it on.
scales.
We can put it on the agenda for either June 2nd or June, what is the next one? The 16th. I think that's right. Yeah.
Let's look at budget first. This is no rush to this, because it's not going to start anyway until next budget, until next year. And so there's no need to rush it. We can look at budget, where we are with it.
No, I'm not rushing it. It's just that every time we get ready to hire somebody, they want to say it's on the old budget and new budget.
Well,
we didn't vote for that. You went on and gave somebody that. We didn't vote for that. That's the only reason why I was saying that.
And you can't hire them in on the new rate if we haven't all voted on it. That's the bottom line.
That's why I was mentioning that.
We messed up one time and did that. We don't need to do it again. That's the reason I asked the question.
Well, then, Larry, okay, so the rate we're talking about, 1665, is that in the old and the new pay scales?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's right.
That's on both.
Okay, so there's not
That's
any
no
change
problem.
there. Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, do we have a motion to approve hiring Eric McKenzie?
I make a motion.
Second.
Yeah, and that is, y'all don't want to rerun because of the must live in the city limits thing.
That wasn't posted in the advertisement. It's in the job description.
Okay.
Better get him while you can.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion from Brenda and a second from Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hired. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
what about the question he had asked about the reimbursement? I told him I would get an answer. I didn't promise him either way. about if he has to pay anything back.
Yeah, Billy said there's a possibility that where he is now, they may ask him for a reimbursement for his training. But we don't know how much that is.
I don't. And he didn't want to ask them to alert them of that he was leaving or anything. So I guess when he turned his notice in, I'm assuming he would find out at that point.
Yeah.
I understand, but you just made the statement a minute ago that that was one of the advantages of hiring him, is we didn't have to train him. There was not going to be any expense there. So in a sense, that washes on that part of it. Like I said, it probably will not happen anyway.
Right. And that's what I told him, that I could not promise that all I could do was ask the question. So.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. We'll hope that doesn't come up.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item is the Touch a Truck proclamation. Touch a Truck is Friday. No, let's see. Okay. Don, this is on the 20, is it 28th or the 29th? It's the 29th.
The 29th, Friday.
Yeah. Okay, so we have National Public Works Week proclamation. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Monroeville. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Monroeville to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public work programs in their respective communities. Whereas 2020 marks the 60th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the Works Association. Resolved, I, Mayor Sandy Smith, do hereby designate the week of May 24th through 29th as National Public Works Week, and urge all citizens to join with government agencies and ceremonies to say that I hope everyone will come out for our Touch a Truck. The hours on that, again, Don, what are the hours?
The hours are 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, with 9 to 10 as being the free horn hour.
Okay, great. It'll be a great event. Thank you for putting that together. We'll look forward to it.
Yes.
Okay, and then thank you. And then we do have a spring cleanup proclamation that is by the governor. And we were supposed to have a speaker tonight. Barbara Turner was going to come talk about the litter problem in our community. So the litter pickup week will be, our spring cleanup will be May 25th through 30th. And people can just go by the fire station, get their various bags and grabbers and vests. And there will be some kind of a check off, so you'll know what's been picked up and what is still out there. But this is a great event. PALS is a sponsor of this event, and the state of Alabama and the city of Monroeville. So I hope that it will call attention to the litter. We do have a litter problem, And I think we all need to get out and help pick it up. So I will read briefly the proclamation. Whereas Alabama PALS, which is People Against a Littered State, is a statewide organization dedicated to making our state more beautiful by sponsoring programs focused on cleaning up litter in Alabama's streets, streams, campuses, and coastlines. And whereas Alabama PALS mission statement is Alabama communities working together for a cleaner and more beautiful Alabama. And whereas the largest Alabama PALS initiative is the Don't Drop It on Alabama Spring Cleanup, which is held annually. It would have been in April, except we had the COVID issue. So we have moved it to May 25th through 30th. And it's open to participation by all of Alabama's 67 counties and all of Alabama's cities and municipalities. Whereas in April of 2019, over 20,000 volunteers participated in more than 240 cleanups statewide. And whereas since 1989, the spring cleanup has become the largest litter cleanup in Alabama and has saved the taxpayers of Alabama $5 million each year through volunteer efforts. And whereas the focus of the spring cleanup extends beyond environmental impact to education, youth, community, and volunteerism. And whereas this includes instilling environmental responsibility in Alabama's youth and creating within all Alabamians a sensitivity to the need to care about and take responsibility for the environment. Now, therefore, I, Kay Ivey, Governor of Alabama, do proclaim, April 2020 is Don't Drop It on Alabama Spring Cleanup Month, but we'll proclaim May 25 through 30, Monroeville Spring Cleanup Month. And thank you, Dawn, for putting all that together. People can go by the fire station on Claiborne Street, collect the different props that you'll need, and then have at it. It doesn't take long to pick up a big garbage bag full. So thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I don't really have anything else except to really thank I know that our police and fire departments have been extremely busy with all of the fire department with several fires and the wrecks, and it's been a very stressful time, and our police have had a lot going, and just appreciate all that y'all are doing, and pray that y'all stay safe and everyone stays healthy. And that's all I have to say. I think now, Al, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Thelma?
I don't have anything.
Brenda?
No, ma'am.
Anthony?
I don't.
Oh, Mayor, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do need to make a motion that we pay an expense at the incubator building
Thank
to
you.
repair the fire sprinkler at a cost not to exceed $5,600.
Thank you, Al. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Al, because I actually forgot it. Okay, so then Anthony, you said, Anthony, you're okay?
Yes, ma'am, I'm good.
Okay. Larry?
I'm good. Thank you.
Melvin?
We need to make a motion that we purchase the boards and the flotation devices at an expense of approximately $1,200 for both pools to replace the ones that need replacing.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Do we have a second on that?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Okay, Melvin, do you have anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Mary, do you have anything?
Ma'am.
Okay. Billy?
Nothing other than the sprinkler guys said they could start tomorrow upon y'all's approval, so I'll send you the email, and in that they asked that Michael provide the backhoe to cut down some of that expense.
Okay.
Just let me know what.
Okay.
Okay, so y'all get together. Mandy,
No, ma'am.
Michael,
No, ma'am.
Tim,
No, ma'am.
Sandra? She must not be on.
I am.
Oh, you are on. Okay, Sandra, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Dom?
No.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting of city council.
And I
Okay.
second.
Thank you, Larry. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, y'all stay healthy. Thanks.